Hello and welcome to episode 146 of Fergo and The Freak. I'm that bloke from Rugby League Project, Andrew Ferguson. You can find me on Twitter at AndrewRLP. Joining me once again is the faultless League Freak. You can find on Twitter at League Freak. How you going there, mate?
I'm going really well. There was one point I thought that I was wrong on something, but it turned out to be right. So yeah, faultless. Like, you nailed it.
Absolutely nailed it. Let's be honest, and we'll find this out as the episode progresses.
Mm-hmm.
I am thorough and meticulous with my research.
Yeah, and I don't think people understand how deep you go into these things. Like, I always say, one thing about Andrew, he goes deep.
Say it. Say the line.
That's what she said.
Lovely. Alrighty. Well, let's say today we had a first in rugby league history in Australia, and that was the NRL competition has been suspended because of the coronavirus pandemic. This largely came about, obviously, because of the pandemic, but also because Queensland decided to close its border, and there's talk that Victoria is probably going to do the same, which means no one can travel in and out of New South Wales, and that kind of shuts down the competition anyway, kind of like what happened to the AFL the day before when South Australia closed down their borders. So yeah, we're without any sport whatsoever until...
Yeah, apart from the A-League. The A-League's still going, I think.
Yeah, so we're without sport for...
Oh, man.
Till how long? Who knows?
Yeah.
So we're going to have a little bit of a chat here. I'd seen some comments about Peter Volandi's appearance on NRL 360, and some people were saying that he was some of the media type there, like Buzz Rothfield particularly, were absolutely frothing at the mouth at just salivating over the fact that some clubs could go broke.
Yeah,
so perverse.
It really is, and it must be weird for them because all these journalists, they all death ride rugby league, and they're always talking about, oh, this club's right at the edge, and they've been talking about this shit for 20 years. And so when there's an opportunity that's a bit different and a bit like that we haven't seen before, they get really excited. They're like, oh, this might be it.
Yeah. The problem is, none of them are thinking selfishly enough, because if the game does die, which it won't, all these arse-hats are going to be without a job.
Yeah. Well, I know the other week I was lighting a lot of candles for the people that were let go by Fox Sports, eh?
Where the people let go? I've been busy working, sorry.
Oh, have you? You're fucking snowed under.
I actually am. I'm working harder than most journalists at the moment, to be honest.
Oh, that's easy.
So we were going to have we chatted briefly, and I've just decided right now that it's a good idea to go with some of the ideas you thought there. What are some of the things that NRL could do, I guess, to fill the void in their fans' lives now that the game's not on? And perhaps even, what are some of the things that the players could do to stay match fit?
Oh, man. That's a dangerous question. I think we're going to see...
They're all in self-isolation, so they can't go out and do anything naughty with other people of the public.
That's good. I think we're going to see a lot of players playing Fortnite on streaming services, which will be interesting. I think that, what's going to be really weird is, I bet you any money that the article is coming, that it's like a picture of a footy player out just, getting bread at the shops or something, and it'll be like, NRL player breaks quarantine. And it's just going to be some player just getting like milk or something. So that'll be an interesting one. If they could get...
I was going to say, it'll be Peter Bedell that breaks that story, because he's always been of the opinion that every NRL player is an absolute dickhead.
Yeah. And you know what would be the perfect one is if they could get video of an NRL player surfing.
Surfing at Bondi?
Yeah, that would be gold.
That would be brilliant.
Mm. Mm.
Actually, I'd like to see footage of an NRL player buying toilet paper. Oh, he's hoarding.
He's hoarding it, yeah. Oh,
The
shit.
hoarding horror.
Yeah,
NRL's hoarding horror.
yeah. You know what though? You know what's funny? I bet that I wouldn't be shocked if they got a picture of an NRL player like buying lots of meat and saying that they're hoarding and missing out the fact that when you're like 125 kilograms, you have to eat a shitload of fucking protein.
You do. You do. I'll tell you one thing I'd like to see away from the NRL players
Yeah,
is a new panel show
yeah,
on Fox Sports
yeah,
containing the unseen Fox Sports writers. I'd like to see Fox Sports writers. I'd like to see
yep,
staff writers.
yeah,
Those two have a chat show where they're the two hosts, kind of like NRL 360,
hmm,
but with Fox Sports staff. That's their name. And the other one is staff writers. They host it, and they can have guests come on. And they'll be just random guests, probably behind a wall so you don't see them. The whole thing will just be done in the dark, possibly, so you don't see anyone's identity, or just the back of the heads.
yeah.
And they can
Well,
just talk about rugby league.
you know what you could do? You could have a guest, like a special, like rugby league player guest come on, right? But then have them in a perspex box. Like, I don't remember if you watched the Tom Green show, but he had this self-contained like perspex box that he would go into restaurants and smoke inside of, and he was allowed to smoke inside of it. People didn't appreciate it for some reason, and he called it a Samsey. And so we have the players sitting in a Samsey, and they're getting like interviewed by guest writers. Oh, not guest writers, staff writers.
Staff writers and Fox
Yeah,
Sports staff.
yeah,
Yeah.
that would be awesome. You
Just
know
get
what
them
we could?
grilled.
I just thought, right? We start having like reality TV shows. So we get one, and James Hooper, he starts evaluating cars, and right, and he does. It's like he buys them at auction and he sells them at ridiculous losses because he overestimates how much they are.
Oh, that's good. See, I was thinking maybe James Hooper could be a mechanic.
Mm.
So someone can come in and say, look, something wrong with the front of the car. I don't know what it is. And he goes, I know what it is. It's your front suspension. I'll fix it for you.
Yeah.
And he just gets up on the hood, bounces up and down a bit. See that? There's very little bounce in there. We need to fix that up. That's how he tests everything.
Just jumps on it.
Yeah. The horn's not working. That's okay. I'll just pull the steering wheel out and jump up and down off it a little. I'll see if it works. Honk, honk. It stopped working. We'll have to get a new one.
Or you know
He
what?
just fixed everything that way. It's a bit cliche, but it'll work. And I think the people would appreciate it.
You know what would be even better is if he opens the bonnet, right? And you know how you open the bonnet and you sort of lean over and you fix stuff? What if instead of that he crawls up in the engine bay and he faces back the other way and that's how he fixes the cars? Just a really weird, like, somebody says, oh, I've got a problem with someone's fucking, I think there's something wrong with my brakes. And so he crawls through the sunroof and just hangs out, his feet are out the sunroof, and he's playing with the pedals going, they seem fine to me.
Kind of like he's a midget.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big thing, yeah. That'd be fantastic. And you could probably, what other shows could you do with the Fox Sports staff now that they're going to be without work?
Well, I think, you know what would be a really nice little segment they could have is like, no, what's his name? They could have like, get Dylan Napa on, right? And he has a segment and it's like Mr. Squiggle. That'd be cool. Because I've heard he's a pretty good artist, is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, he's got some good pencils too.
Yeah, yeah.
I reckon you get Paul Kent on to host Antiques Roadshow.
Yeah.
And you just sit there and get angry. What do you got this for? And that'd just be it. Just old ladies would be crying as he's just berating them for owning something old.
What if you did Well, you know what Paul Kent would be really good at? He'd be really good at, like, have you ever seen 5 Minute Crafts, the little fucking YouTube channels? He could
No.
do it, but it's like 5 Minute Crafts, and they've got 5 minute videos, and people do crafts. He could do 4 minute crafts because all of his shit that he ever did that was good was done in 4 minutes.
Or less.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That would be good. Oh man, there's so many opportunities here for the Fox Sports stars. There's plenty of content they can come up with.
Yeah.
Don't need to have controversy corner because it's just a bunch of former players yelling at one another.
Oh, what if we changed controversy corner, right? So you've got controversy corner, and you've got all the normal people that are on it, right? But then they get someone that's got coronavirus, and they have them on a chair that's just spinning slowly around all of them, right? And eventually, and it's controlled by the viewers at home. And if they decide they don't like what someone's saying, they stop the chair, and the person just, they just lean in and they go, and that's it. They need another person for next week.
Oh, that's savage.
Because they're all in the demographic.
See, I was thinking what you were getting at there was the person with coronavirus going around was going to play Duck, Duck, Goose.
What if the NRL just made a Duck, Duck, Goose league?
I think
who would be the best at Duck, Duck, Goose in the NRL?
Oh, have to have a good turn of speed, like flat-footed turn of speed.
Oh, I feel like James Tedesco would be really good at it.
I reckon he would be too.
Yeah.
2005, Benji Marshall would have been unbeatable.
Oh, easy. You know who'd be really good at it is Mitchell Moses. I reckon he'd be good at it. Oh, Damien Cook.
Yeah.
Damien Cook.
Did you know?
Yeah.
I've done my research. He used to be a beach sprint champion.
Who, Damien Cook?
Yeah.
Fuck, eh?
Transferable skills, mate. He brought him across rugby league. That's why he's so quick.
I've never heard that, hey?
Fantastic.
All right.
The things you learn.
Yeah. We're an educational podcast.
Oh, absolutely. Now, what else have we got to talk about before we get into our big story that we're going to look into here?
We talked about the season being fucked. I don't know. I think that was it, wasn't it?
I think that's pretty much it. All right. Yeah. We've decided that given that the season is, we'll call it on hold, but we've decided that, fuck it, it's over.
Yeah.
So I've used all of the data analytical tools that I have at my muster and have run them through a whole heap of different programs and got to a final ladder at the end of the year based on all of this data, how the ladder would look at the end of round 25 leading into the finals. And the computer modelling I've got here also explains how the top 8 is formed. Mm-hmm. And from there, we're going to look at, we're going to then analyse the finals to see who's going to reach the grand final.
Yeah, and like, I know you've been working on this for a long time. And there were, like, I know early on there was a few things that needed worked out and stuff. And, like, I can't believe how accurate it seems. It's quite amazing, really. You should be really, really proud of it. I was really impressed.
Yeah, I mean, this is the most analytically intelligent thing I've probably ever done.
Yeah. 100%.
All right, so we'll go through the ladder here.
Mm-hmm.
Minor premiers on top of the ladder. Penrith Panthers. They had 23 wins and 1 loss. That's a pretty good season.
Yeah, and that loss, that was a close one, wasn't it?
There was a 1-point loss to the Warriors.
Yeah.
And the Warriors, with all the support that's been coming in from people buying memberships with them, they had a lot of money. They bought up a really good squad, and they ended up winning 22 games out of the 24 and finishing second on the ladder.
Come home strong, didn't they?
Very strong.
Yeah.
Third, Parramatta, 32 points.
Yeah, they had a little bit of a lull at about the halfway mark, but they did come home strong as well.
Yeah, they only lost 1 game in the back half of the season.
Yeah.
Pretty much threatened everyone that if they don't pull their head out of their asses, then they're all going to have their contracts torn up. So everyone did what they were told and started ripping teams apart.
Yeah, there was a catastrophic loss to the Panthers mid-season that really catapulted their season.
That was pretty much it. A 48-point loss to Penrith, and they just went, "That's it. We've got to do something here."
Mm-hmm.
Canberra, fourth on the ladder with 14 wins.
They were really consistent. They really deserved that place on the ladder.
Yeah, they were pretty solid. Melbourne, fifth on the ladder. They had a lot of close wins, but copped one or two heavy losses, which actually gave them a negative points difference of minus 15, which is the first in the history.
Yeah, and it took a bit of a step back too. From it was probably, I think the algorithms and stuff probably factored in that the Storm just were not going to be quite as elite as they have been in the last few years.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate there, and they had a pretty steady end to the season. They won 3 of their last 5 games there.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys were in 6th with 13 wins. South 7th on 13 wins, and rounding out the top 8, Manly with 11 wins and 13 losses on 22 points. There is a bit of an issue though with Manly because the algorithm said that they, in the very last game against the Melbourne Storm, which they won, was it the Melbourne Storm? Can't remember. No, it was against the Titans, I think. The very last game against the Titans, which they won, they actually had an illegal player on the field. So the 2 competition points they got for that game, they've lost.
Wow. Well, so who was in 9th place then, Andrew?
This is going to surprise you.
Yeah.
Because the West Tigers finished 9th and they're also on 22 points.
No way.
So by an absolute miracle, they finished 9th. Yeah. But because of this issue that hit Manly, the Tigers are going to be in the finals.
What are the fucking odds of that? I can't believe that the algorithm spat that out.
Pretty amazing stuff.
Incredible.
You couldn't make it up.
Well done to the West Tigers, hey, making the finals.
From 9th?
Yeah, the first time a 9th place team has ever made 8th place in the finals.
No one else could have done it except the Tigers.
Yeah, very impressive.
The Sharks, the Bulldogs, and the Titans were all 10th, 11th, and 12th. They all had 10 wins.
Mm-hmm.
The Knights finished 13th with 9 wins.
Yep.
The Broncos were 14th, also with 9 wins. The Roosters, they fell apart without Cooper Cronk. 7 wins from their 24 games. Second last. And the Dragons didn't win a game and had the amazing run of losing all of their last 22 games by just 1 point.
That's unlucky. At the end of the day. Yeah, sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce your way.
Exactly. It's 22 times it didn't bounce their way in 22 games. And because it was, kicks that cost the Dragons games, it says here that the Dragons board took sympathy with McGregor because they think points from kicks shouldn't count.
Yeah.
And if that hadn't happened, then they would have won all of those 22 games. So they gave him another contract extension.
Yeah, and look, you know what? That sounds right. Like, it's sometimes you think that the algorithm isn't working quite right, and then it spits something like that out, and you're like, no, it's working.
It's state of the art.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Yeah.
So, first week of the finals,
mm-hmm.
we've got Penrith plays Canberra at Penrith.
Mm.
Now, this is us now. This is not the algorithms anymore. Who do you reckon is going to win that game?
Well,
Penrith only lost 1 game. They've won their last 5. Raiders' last 5 are 4-1.
Look, Canberra has some pretty good form leading into this one, but everything just looks like the Panthers at home would take the victory here.
I agree. I'm siding with Penrith on that one as well.
Okay.
The home ground advantage is pretty big there.
Mm.
Next game, Melbourne Storm versus the West Tigers.
Ooh. You know what? I have a feeling about the Tigers, hey?
they've actually got a reasonably good record against the Melbourne Storm.
Yeah.
Um, and I think they're going to be buoyed by the fact that they're in their first final series since 2011.
Yeah, I mean, the last time that, they were playing finals football, Benji Marshall wasn't even in his prime yet. And I'm not even talking like his 30-year-old prime yet, that Matthew Johns would say. I think the Tigers win that one.
I'm going to be biased, being a Tigers fan. I'm going to say the Tigers win that one.
Okay. All right.
Next game, Cowboys versus the Rabbitohs.
Ooh.
Now, I'm thinking Cowboys won their last two games of the season. This one's at their new home ground. I'm backing the Cowboys for this one.
Yeah, Jason Taumalolo going off. I agree.
And the last game, the second place Warriors. I mean, they've won their last 22 straight games, and up against Parramatta, who have won 4 of their last 5. I don't think the freight train's going to stop. I've got the Warriors winning that one.
Yeah, the Warriors all the way. RTS just kills it.
Having a splendid year.
Really did. He really did. The algorithm said he was one of the better players in the league.
Yeah. And I mean, that's not hard to you don't even need an algorithm to come up with that one. He's just a legend.
No.
Week 2 of the finals. Canberra Raiders versus the West Tigers.
Ooh. You know what? That loss to the Panthers, I think that would really hurt the Raiders, their confidence. And the West Tigers coming off a really big win over the Storm. And I've just got a feeling about the Tigers.
Yeah, you know what? I can't argue with that logic.
Yeah.
I'm going the Tigers on that one as well.
Okay.
Benji had a magnificent record against the Raiders for a long time, and given his form, there's no reason why that can't continue.
Mm.
And then Parramatta versus the Cowboys. Now, Parramatta does have a habit of failing to reach grand finals.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's going to hurt him here. And I've got the Cowboys on a big run here. They've got Taumalolo, they've got Holmes. They're aiming to get another title. I think they're going to go hard here. I think they're going to get the job done.
Yeah, they're heating up here, and I agree. I think that they've just got too much for the Eels in this game, and the Cowboys take the win.
Absolutely. So we're down to the grand final qualifiers.
Wow.
We're getting to the meaty end of the season here.
It's getting tense now, hey?
It's getting very tense. So we've got Penrith versus the Cowboys. Kickout versus Taumalolo.
Maybe the two most devastating forwards in rugby league at the moment. Man, there's not much between them considering the form they're in. But I think Cleary, my boy, I think he's going to do it. I think he's going to take him to the promised land.
Yeah, I'm going to err on the side of Penrith there. I think they're going to get the job done.
Yeah. Into the grand final, eh?
They're into their first grand final since, was it 2003?
3, yeah, when we fucking smashed the Roosters, yep.
That was carnage.
They never recovered.
Never recovered. And the second game will be the Warriors on their magnificent run, taking on the West Tigers.
I've got a feeling about the Tigers, Andrew.
Yeah?
Yeah, I just think that, Benji coming up against the New Zealand team, the Warriors, it's going to be a lot of New Zealanders at the game. Benji Marshall's from New Zealand. He's from Whakatane. I got a feeling.
You got a feeling? Oh, you know what? I think this is going to be one that's going to come down to the coaches. And Kearney hasn't been in a grand final. Maguire knows how to get there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Tigers.
And I tell you what, after the season that the algorithm said Dewey had, wow.
Yeah.
What an achievement.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Very impressive.
Before we get to the grand final, which is going to be Penrith versus the West Tigers, I'm going to slip this one in. We didn't discuss this one in the pre-show episode.
The 2-hour pre-show episode, yep.
Yeah. The Dalian Awards are held during the week.
Oh, yeah, that's right, leading into the grand final.
Who have you got down to win the Dalian Player of the Year for 2020?
Well, there were a lot of candidates, as there always seem to be every year. But I just couldn't go past my boy.
You got Cleary getting the job done.
I think that with the season he had, just him and Kickout, just a 1-2 punch. It's just, man, what a season they had. And I think that Cleary just starts racking up them points, Who did you have as your Dalian winner?
I decided to go out on a limb.
Yeah.
And I've got Blake Green picking it up.
Blake Green?
Mate, 22 wins in a row.
Wow.
You can't do that with a shit halfback.
True. That's very true.
He picks it up in his final year because he's going to retire at the end of the year.
Yeah.
That's a way to cap a season.
He looked, you know what? The algorithm said that he looked like swole, like buff all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Just had a good off season.
And just absolutely caned him.
Yeah.
So you go. Well, right to the big game now. This is the grand final.
Man.
Penrith versus West Tigers. Obviously, you and I are going to do a live broadcast for this game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, where do you start? Where do you even start, Andrew?
Look at the clashes across the field.
Mm.
Aikens is a fullback because Ivan Cleary has obviously come to his senses and gone, yeah, we need to have a proper fullback and not a winger there.
Yeah. Edwards is running down the sideline next to the touchy. That's what sent them on their run. That little switch there, little bit of a switch.
The smart play.
Mm.
You got Brooks up against Cleary.
Two of the best halfbacks in the world right there.
It's a good little battle, that one.
Mm.
I don't know of any other big battles that are going on across the field because everyone's been in such fantastic form, let's be honest.
They really have. I mean, Joey Leilua especially. Like
carving up.
The buy of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Dally M buy of the year.
Yeah, easy. He won the centre of the year at the Dally M, so...
He did.
Incredible season he had.
Probably put him in the top 5 for Dally M Player of the Year as well.
Yep.
He would have been racking up points left, right and centre. I mean, he probably scored about 20-odd tries.
Yeah, just turned into a try-scoring genius. And probably always had it in him too. He got rid of 1 or 2 mistakes out of his game every game. And everything come together at the right time for him.
You know what the algorithm said, which was very surprising, is that from round 3 onwards, he didn't give away a single penalty and didn't have one single handling error.
This is the funny thing about the algorithm, right? It sounds fucking ridiculous, but when you look at the numbers and you look at how it comes to it, you're like, that's completely obvious. I don't know why I wasn't thinking about that.
It just works.
Yeah.
So, with that in mind, we're up to the grand final.
Okay.
So,
I'm ready.
The winner of the 2020 NRL Grand Final is